Hello everyone, it's Tuesday and you're watching Within the Frame. I'm Kim Bo-kyung. Various industrial sectors are suffering from chronic labor shortages, and it's a situation that's only expected to worsen with the country's record low fertility rate. To alleviate such labor shortages, the government decided to expand the foreign employment permit quotas for 2024, letting a record high number of 165,000 E9 visa foreign workers enter the country. Not just that, the country is planning to have around 100 foreign nannies work in households to help with childcare, a move that is aimed at boosting the low birth rate. What are some of the concerns experts have for such policies, and how should South Korea brace itself for a multiracial and multicultural society? For this, we welcome Professor Song Soo-young from Chung-Ang University. Welcome, Professor Song.
Yeah, good evening to you. Thank you for having me.
And we also have Professor Choi Sun from Myeongju University. Welcome to the show, Professor Choi.
Hello, thank you for having me.
All right, first question to our Professor Song. The OECD recently downwardly revised South Korea's economic growth rate to be 1.4% this year. And experts say one of the main reasons behind such a revision is a decrease in the workforce due to population decline. What effect is the low fertility rate expected to have economically?
Yeah, evidently, low fertility rate has a long-term negative effect on the labor force in light of the supply and not only the productivity and also the burden of the younger generations to take care of the older generation, as long as the country is pursuing that the welfare state for the people. So to that regard, the economic recent downturn, which has shown the 1.4% of GDP growth rate for this year 2023, and the next year is a little bit better, 2.4% or something around that numbers, is that reflects not just actually that is just short-term some bad performance of Korean economy, not because of the fertility rate. However, fertility rate has definitely effect on some generation. So usually generation period is measured at 30 years. Therefore, that is my concern. But current bad performance in Korean economy is, I don't think it's because of the some fertility rate.
Oh, all right, I see. Well, Professor Choi, even though the fertility rate, the low fertility rate is not the only reason for the lowered, productivity, South Korea decided to bring in an all-time high of 165,000 non-professional migrant workers next year under the employment permit system. First of all, what is this system about, and how many years will foreign workers arriving here on this employment visa be able to stay?
Korea has used the employment permit system for the professional and non-professional foreign workers. Especially non-professional worker, we need in the many diverse industry, because maybe the labor shortage is hitting harder to many industry in our society. So there are big momentum. We have used the employment system already, but we changed 2024. They can stay about maybe maximum is 10 years. Now we have used maybe a 3-year contract, 3-year visa system, and then if we extend is a 4 years and 10 months, and if the foreign workers go back to their country and come back again, they can use another 4 and 10 months, something like that. But we dramatically change it. We increase the number of the visa quota. At the same time, they can stay till the maximum is about 10 years.
All right, I see. So E9 visa is so-called the non-professional employment visa, I guess. Now, Professor Song, how many foreign workers with that visa will be allocated to each different industry or sector? I mean, I heard migrant workers will also be able to work in restaurants, the mining and forestry sectors as well.
Yeah, recently, because our economy is in the recovery stage from coronavirus pandemic, so the pent-up demand, particularly in the service industry, has been very popular. But labor supply is definitely falls short of the in order to maintain some service at the level of the which used to be served in the before the outbreak of coronavirus. Therefore, definitely they need our economy needs some the labor forces which could be deployed for some sectors such as restaurant, mining, or forestry and the agriculture. Particularly, I have seen that in the newspaper that some Vietnamese workers, she has earned 5 times more than what she has earned in the Vietnam, particularly for the harvest of the orange and tangerine in the Jeju Island. So that's because we fall short of the, particularly in rural area, the agricultural sector, the people of the age who should work has been getting old, and then short supply of some relatively young labor forces. To that regard, we need some very substantial number of the labor forces to help the economy to work, and also as well as some relatively lower wage rate for those people. So that is in order to recover our economy right now and also maintain the current level of the price at some food and industry and the service industry. It is necessary, I think.
All right, so foreign workers will be allocated to those sectors in need. Now, Professor Song, one more question. Since we know basic details of the plan now, I'd like to tap on some concerns. So some say such expansion to those eligible for a E9 visa is just a quick fix rather than a long-term solution, as you have earlier mentioned, the job vacancies that foreigners are expected to fill are mostly in areas where working conditions are challenging. What is your view on this?
When the working condition is challenging and difficult, it means that because of the risk premium, the wage should be high. Then when we import some labor forces from the foreign countries, then the employer could save their wage cost, because the employee from foreign countries, they would like to receive relatively lower than the current the labor forces in Korea, domestic labor forces wage. So this is a kind of the both win-win situation. And as I mentioned earlier in the first question about, I'm sorry, that our fertility rate has been in the third quarter of 2023 is only 0.7 replacement rate. So that is really, I'm sorry, that is quite low, and which means that the wage or labor wage should be increased very high. So, and because of the shortage, the labor wage.
Are you okay, Professor Song?
Yeah.
All right. Can we continue?
Yeah, sure. Okay. So my view on this one is that this is, as you mentioned earlier, this must be a temporary one. But in order to overcome this condition properly, and what I think of the option to recover the economy is to make the economy run again and make the economy to grow. So I need the fiscal policy, expansionary fiscal policy is definitely needed to make the economy run again.
All right, I see. So it's definitely a win-win situation for both the foreign workers and the Korean economy, but we still need fiscal policy to boost the economy, as our Professor Song said. All right, now Professor Che, Another concern is that this system could result in more undocumented and unregistered foreign workers, as many E9 visa holders could violate the legitimate contracts and leave the initially registered workplaces to find a new job with better pay. How should this be tackled?
I think that we need maybe two-side job. As Professor Song already talking about maybe the condition, the working conditions in the field, but at the same time, we have a regulation about if Korean employer break some conditions, maybe our foreign employee can change their place to work. For example, if they pay less, which is as contracted already, but they pay less, 30%, they can change to another place. And the time of the work, like 20% more work, or they change the time of working time change, something like that. That also sometimes some bad treatment, such as sexual harassment. Then our foreign workers can be protected. They can change their place to work. But the problem, sometimes the foreign workers intentionally, they change the place for the better payment, better pay, which is a big problem. But we need to work together. Government cannot capture all these violations. So we need working together. We need making collaboration system with. Actually, there are some unions, workers' unions, and the foreign workers' unions, and there are many centers and churches to help the foreign workers. We should work together. It is another society. We must prepare future multicultural society. That means maybe the violation of some of our foreign workers, maybe our police and maybe other system can work. But many times, or some more civil societies working together, that is maybe the only way. So one thing is employer should maybe keep their regulations. Also, we should working together, some kind of collaboration system.
All right, I see. So cooperation and collaboration between the government and foreign workers unions or centers that protect or support foreign workers would be needed to prevent them from, leaving the initial workplaces. Professor Che, one more question. With the record high number of foreigners expected to come, more staff would also be needed at the Labor Ministry to deal with the, administrative process, and we would also need more support for centers established for foreign workers as well. But I heard that level of support is not planned for now. If that's the case, how should this be dealt with?
I think that this is maybe related to the previous question about maybe we need some governance system, because we don't have almighty government. Maybe we should give up about the government can do everything. Maybe our industry is suffer from the labor shortage, and then our birth rate is so low, so there is no choice. We must invite many foreign workers to our society. Then again, we should maybe thinking about some governance among the many stakeholders. Maybe the foreign workers is not only the workers in our society, they are a member of our society. If we accept that, then we can maybe better performance for our economy. But if not, there are increasing of the violation and crime. So I think in terms of that, I think our system is not yet ready. So I think the government side, Ministry of the Employment and Labor, should more focus about this governance collaboration among the unions and then the churches, centers to help them, and the same time government organization. This is the only way we can prepare for the future multicultural society. And I think not yet ready, but I hope that we work very soon.
All right, so we should not entirely depend on the government to do all of the work, but instead we need to come up with proper governance systems so that all the stakeholders could, cooperate with each other. I see. Now, Professor Song, sometimes it is better to look at overseas examples. So other countries, such as Germany, have been changing their labor policies to let more foreign workers enter as they were experiencing decreased productivity. Could you tell us other cases South Korea could refer to?
Particularly because Germany has been exemplified, and they projected the real GDP growth rate for the Germany year of 2023 is negative 0.5%, whereas the consumer price inflation has reached 6.3%. So which means that even nominal GDP growth rate is just a 5.8 percentage points for the Germany. So which is really the worst among the advanced countries in Europe, such as in comparison with the French and even Italy or some Britain. The Germany has suffered so much from the cut from some natural gas import from Russia. And the German economy has been hit so severely because of the war between Russia and Ukraine. To that regards, Germany would like to, in order to keep supplying some service industry, and the service that's why they allow the foreign workers to come into Germany. And the primary reason is basically the foreign workers imported to Germany maybe require a little bit lower wage than the domestic labor forces in Germany. So to that regard, we would like to, in South Korea, we would like to make use of these foreign workers, particularly from the Southeast Asian countries, because the relative wage in Southeast Asian countries is quite low. And also, currently, in South Korea would like to offer some level of some minimum wage, at least, which is equivalent to the level of the domestic workers. So that is a very attractive wage for the foreign workers from particularly Southeast Asian countries. But however, I have heard that some government from Southeast Asian countries, they have they are concerned about the status of the foreign workers in South Korea because of the South Korea government has cut the budget for to support and supply provided some administrative service to the foreign workers who is not at all well accustomed to some Korean language, and so they need some legal protection. So to that regard, that is main primary concern. Otherwise, there is a positive effect for the South Korean economy and also South Asian workforces.
All right, win-win situation for both of us. All right, now shifting gears a little bit here. Professor Che, we have been talking about foreign workers in industries, but not just that. As part of the government's plan to ease childcare burden for parents and boost the country's low fertility rate, a total of 100 foreigners will work within households starting in December. What are the details of the scheme?
I think that the Korean government, especially I think that the Seoul metropolitan city, maybe some initiate, then some congressmen agreed, and the government maybe agreed, and we now try to work by the December of this year, maybe 100, maybe the child care worker we try to invite. But I'm not sure. The reason why we do this is maybe we try to getting better the lowest birth rate, such as like 0.78 right now. Maybe we invite 100 nanny and the child care helper, or we invite 100,000 maybe nanny and the child care helper. I don't think that related to maybe our birth rate. So I'm not sure why we should do this. Also, there are benchmarking with Singapore and Hong Kong, but they didn't show any the increase of the birth rate in their some 7 years history, something like that. But probably we have a shortage of labor, especially in the maybe household, because now the wife and husband working together. So probably we need this system. But maybe government-driven system right now, government decide the money, like how much pay, like a wage, and second is they decide the visa, they decide the number. So where is the market? Where is the supply and demand? Probably if we want to make a sustainable system like this, and we should plan to how to work with the market system. Maybe 100 nanny we can use with the government driven. But in the later, maybe we should we want to invite 100,000 nanny, then the government cannot. So we must realize government can work with the society, and then really there is supply and demand exist.
All right, I see. It seems the city and the government have to consider many things so that this policy could properly work. Now, we are running out of time, but I'd like to ask this last question to our Professor Song. So overall, South Korea is set to become a multiracial society in 2024 as the percentage of foreign residents reaching 5.1% according to the OECD report. What kind of long-term policies should the government come up with to properly embrace the multicultural society?
Yeah, as we become a multi-ethnic society, which means that we must be prepared to accept some immigration from foreign countries. So what is necessary step to overcome the difficulties or some potential conflict between the domestic and the foreign workers would be the government should pay attention to not only to solve the cultural conflict and help the foreign workers to settle down in Korea successfully and smoothly without much conflict. And finally, I would like to say, what is the primary reason to accept some foreign helpers or nannies or foreign workers in our economy? The reason is our fertility rate and birth rate is very low, and we worry about some labor force shortage in the future in 30 years. So according to some experience for the foreign countries which have suffered a decline in birth rate, in order to overcome, we need some housing service and also some female workers' gender equality that should be addressed, and then make the economy very favorable for the female workers to have job opportunity as well as maintain the career and the house life together. To that regard, we need to redefine the definition of the family and the fiscal policy to support female and children, and also housing services such as collective housing or some cheap supply of the house. All those should be necessary, indispensable policies to be taken right away in order to solve the long-term problem of the low fertility rate.
All right. Well, thank you, Professor Song, for your great advice. Now, unfortunately, this is all the time we have for today's edition. Thank you, Professor Song and Professor Choi, for your time and insights. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Sorry for my hiccup.
It's okay. Thank you. All right, that's all for Within the Frame tonight. We'll be back tomorrow with more in-depth stories. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.